I love grape soda. When you talk about millennials, it's impossible not to engage in a little generational warfare. Camille is our token millennial.
What?
And Matt and I are Gen Xers. But to round it out, we needed a baby boomer. We needed the most awesome person who was irascible and opinionated. But Bill O'Reilly was busy, so we called Stuart Varney. He hosts Varney and Company every weekday morning on Fox Business. Are baby boomers better, baby?
No. Look, there is no fundamental difference in the generations. There's a fundamental difference in the condition in which they find themselves. Go back to me, okay? I am indeed a baby boomer. I was a young teenager in the early 1960s listening to the Beatles, and here you have this fresh, dynamic sound. It unlocked that dynamism and vigor in me. Get out there, see what's going on. I was all up for it. You could say that today's...
And so you left New Zealand?
New Zealand? Where'd that come from? I'm an Englishman by birth. No, wait a second. Look, you fast forward to today, and you look at the current generation, and you might think, well, they're fundamentally different from my generation way back then, but they are not. They simply find themselves in a different situation. They're surrounded by entitlement offers, help from this group or that group.
Help, I get it.
They're not help, got that? They're not encouraged to get out there and do it.
You want to beat them about the face and shoulders with some Norwegian wood.
Norwegian. Oh, nice pun. Nice pun. But that's a little bit towards the middle stage of the Beatles. I'm an early stage guy.
I love that insight, though. I really do. I hate, painting in these broad brushes. I mean, we're talking about people who are born over a 20 or 30-year span. The notion that they are materially different from everyone else in some other generational cohort is a little dubious, I think. But here's what we can. Here's what we can say, I think, which is what you were getting at as well, Stuart, is that in general they approach these new technologies without the baggage of the past. And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, but when you only know the internet, you approach it in a different way. And I suppose that can be a distinction between someone who went to high school when the internet was around and someone who went to high school when you could only write a letter to someone.
But that's also, I mean, that is a differentiating aspect of being a millennial is technology.
Yeah, but I don't know that you can extend it much further than that. I mean, at some point, the internet will be old news, and I will be yelling, "Get off my lawn, you stinking kids!"
Absolutely, and there will be something else.
No, I already
feel
that way.
There will be flying cars and free marijuana.
I'm still waiting.
Wait a second. Just suppose that in the next few years we had 5, 6, 7% growth, and the removal of all this heavy-handed government that's all over this current generation. Suppose you had those conditions. I propose that you would have exactly the same ethic in today's generation as you had in my generation. Get up and go, think positive, get out there and move.
Well, see,
do it.
I agree, because I think with Gen Xers, they've been saddled with a lot. They've got horrific student debt. They've got a bad economic outlook and so many other factors working against them. Imagine when...
Yes, give them growth, give them real capitalism, opportunity, open it up, and you see what they can do. They'll be just like us.
They become progressives.
But haven't the boomers kind of, as a policy cohort, kind of screwed the pooch on us here, too?
I mean,
very narcissistic. They created entitlements that they couldn't pay for. The thing that I hated the most
was... And now they're retiring. Thanks, guys.
They used to have these ads in D.C. on the buses saying just because you survive drugs doesn't mean your kids will, and use that as sort of an excuse to, make marijuana illegal.
Aren't you the guy who likes Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, as opposed to Tell Me Why?
Tell me why.
Let me hold your hand.
Tell me why, everyone can have their individual preferences. We're libertarians here, but Tell Me Why is just not a great Beatles song.
Yeah, oh, nonsense. It's got all the fresh brilliance and the sparkle of something brand new. Look, wait a second. We're talking here about the Beatles, right? Okay, it's 1963. Well, you don't remember them?
I remember Wings.
Look, Matt and I have had this conversation before, okay? Let me refresh it. Early 1960s, along comes the Beatles. They're fresh, they're vital, they're absolutely new, totally new sound. Britain's just emerging from the Second World War, and suddenly you have this group that is fresh, different, and really alive. They sounded so different. They woke everybody up.
Do you think this generation suffers because you think they don't have the same musical component to express their culture?
I think that if you had a new band appear, a new brand of popular music, so to speak, you would have precisely the same shift in the consciousness and feelings of today's generation.
All right. Well, they've got more access to music and the ability to make music than ever, and that's another thing that makes me so hopeful. Stuart Varney, thank you for coming. I hope you come back.
All three of you, welcome.
Your awesomeness is blinding.